a treat to be back here, particularly given
the duct tape, please.
the challenges that I had personally over the summer trying to think about whether or not I wanted to be here standing before you tonight. And from the energy in this room and from what I've heard across the country so far, I think I made the right decision. Two things about that. It was not one that I took lightly, and secondly, it's not actually about me. I didn't take it lightly because obviously, as you may all know, I have 2 young children, and one of the big things about my life is I have a life goal of trying to be as awesome a dad as I had.
What are your thoughts on water fluoridation? You think the Canadian population should continue fluoridating their water? What are your thoughts on the subject?
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Sir, did you have a question?
Yes. Hello, my name is Anthony. I'm with CAN.
Pleasure
and I was wondering, what are your thoughts on water fluoridation? You think the Canadian population should continue?
You know what? I haven't seen convincing science, despite the conspiracy theorists, that there's something wrong with fluoridation of water.
So
this is very long. She's president.
I'm perhaps an excuse, I'm perhaps a trigger for it, but if people across the country are reacting this way to a potential leader of the third party in the House of Commons, regardless of his name, it's because people across the country are hoping for something different and something better.
Sir, sorry folks, sir, any comments on the Power Corporation? Sir.
Would you have the media waiting to have a... Justin.ca.
Sir, any statements on the Power Corporation?
Sorry.
Restore the Bank of Canada.
And unfortunately, the story of income inequality that seems to be talked about an awful lot in the news these days and by politicians is not so much a story of what's happening on the ends, on the edges of the income spectrum. It's about what's happening in the middle. To hardworking Canadians who are finding it harder to get by on salaries that just don't seem to be increasing enough, debt load that's increasing, costs that are rising, and people wondering for the first time in generations if perhaps their kids aren't going to automatically have it slightly better than we have now. That idea, that reversal of the idea of progress has got an awful lot of people worrying. And it's got an awful lot of us saying, how do we turn this around?
Just wondering, what's your stance on your father's decision to change our banking system? Would you, as Prime Minister,
I'm not here to defend my father's legacy. I'm here to talk about the future.
If you were Prime Minister, would you restore the Bank of Canada, or would you keep perpetuating the debt to the private banks?
You seem to have your mind made up. I'm listening to Canadians right now, and I'm hearing your perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Trudeau, would you right your father's wrongs by restoring the Bank of Canada?
Please, stop yelling over here.
Sir, would you right your father's wrongs by restoring the Bank of Canada? We currently pay $170 million a day on compound interest to private banks. Could you please restore the Bank of Canada? So then we can...
Thanks so much.
Sir, we're currently paying $170 million a day on compound interest to private banks.
Other people, there's no need to
would you like to restore the Bank of Canada?
Excuse me here.
Yes. This is my grandmother.
Sir, $170 million a day on compound interest, it sure is a lot, sir. Would you restore the Bank of Canada?
I trust Mark Carney and what he's doing. Thank you.
Mark Carney, working for Goldman Sachs at the time, was advising the Russian government on economic policy. These policies ended in a severe economic collapse, which happened to profit Goldman Sachs tens of millions of dollars, in spite of their involvement in a $1.25 billion bailout of the Russian government. Goldman Sachs appears to have been betting against success. Mark Carney went on from there to head up the Bank of Canada, and then on to the Financial Stability Board, the new global watchdog on the world's biggest banks, placing him in an ideal position to repeat the process on a larger scale. The theme of this conference, Adapting to a New World Order, suggests that it is clear how global commerce and finance will be recognized in the wake of the current crisis. However, the outcome is far from preordained. How we manage the rebalancing of the global economy could profoundly influence how open, equitable, and prosperous the New World Order will be.
Well, you know what the politics of division, of fear, of envy, of mistrust? Here's a dirty secret about politics. Those kinds of politics, they can get you elected. They can even give you a majority.
Justin, I have one question for you. Sure. If you ever became Prime Minister, I'm sure you know there's a lot of prominent politicians attending Bilderberg meetings and also have heavy ties to Power Corporation. If you ever did become Prime Minister, would you follow those footsteps? Would you attend Bilderberg meetings?
I think one of the most important things that we have in terms of the shifting of democracy is the moving away from donations and reliance on big corporations. And when you can pack rooms of people who are willing to give $5 donations, that big structure doesn't become necessary.
Yeah, but the Bilderberg, remember, different governments, politicians. So Justin, would you attend or no? You never really answered.
What is it?
If you would attend the Bilderberg.
I've never been invited.
No, but would you attend if you were invited?
Do you have a card?